gender-based budgets in countries where women face like systemic oppression. So I'm going to be giving you a nature analysis of what these women go through in these places. First of all, we realize that in these countries, the women are intrinsically disadvantaged, stemming from the fact that they lack equal opportunities with men. Because they lack equal opportunities with men, they fail to access the basic amenities that would have led to social empowerment for that classified gender in that instance, right? We realize that women have been disadvantaged for very, very long. So we realize that this is not an arising issue. This is an issue that has been perpetuated and it has gone on and on in those instances. And we feel that that is bad. And we realize that as a result, they lack viable representation in various segments of government. So even if they are disadvantaged, they are unable to change this by themselves because they lack vital representation in parts of government where they are able to make policy decisions that can bring about this change, where they are able to influence government policies about these things, or where they can even make viable economic changes in this aspect. So we feel that this is bad. And we feel that this patriarchy also means that women have little or no hope of escaping this. So what brought you about how these things happen, understand? But even as these things are happening, the dominant narrative in society means that women have little or no hope of escaping this because they are being breeded or they are being trained to fit into some gender-specific rules that do not necessarily seek their fulfillment or do not necessarily seek their advancement. So I'm also going to be telling you why substantive equality won't work in this instance. Substantive equality won't work in this instance because one, the benefits of this substantive equality will only be the privileged class of women. That means that even if we say we are reserving some parts of the Senate for these women who are going to go into the Senate, these parts of the Senate are only going to be reserved for privileged women that eventually get into these positions. That means that all those women that are supposed to be represented in the Senate do not end up represented, and we will have a privileged class of women that are being represented in these places. And we feel that that is bad, and we feel that that is not going to work in the status quo. So why is it justified for the government to bring about gender-based budgets for women? Simple, because government is burdened by the principle of moral reparation to make up for what they have failed to do or what they have failed to accomplish. So if the government, as an institution of parity, as an institution of justice, stood by and watched these things happen, this gross oppression and injustice happen to women over decades and decades, and this has eventually led to the disadvantage of a whole social group, we believe that the government is bounded by a principle of moral reparation to make up for what they have failed to do, and that is what this budget is trying to establish. So first of all, what does this budget do? First, it establishes the culpability of government in the disadvantage of women. We realize that there is no government culpability in the present status quo because government has not taken inadvertible steps to curb this thing. So we don't have anybody to hold responsible for the failure of women to meet up to these societal needs because the government has not taken responsibility of these women. So what we have to hold responsible is the societal narrative of patriarchy, which we believe is not enough culpability to enforce these social changes, right? So we believe that when government side begins to spend on the gender budget and do not achieve these changes, do not achieve this equality, it will establish a culpability on the part of government, you understand? So when there is a culpability of the part of government, when government knows that they can be held accountable for their failures, when government knows that they can be held accountable for their transparency in managing this belief, we believe that there will be more incentive for government to try to balance these gender inequalities or try to balance these spaces in gender place. So we believe that establishing culpability is very, very essential in this social movement we are trying to establish in the status quo, right? Secondly, we believe that it dismantles the structures responsible for inequality in the first instance. So basically, what are the structures responsible for inequality in the first instance? We see that women are less educated, we see that women are being confined into some gender roles, we see that women are unable to ascertain some basic technical professions simply because of the fact they are women, not because they are intellectually low. So we believe that funding these gender budgets, we believe that funding these gender budgets will give women a chance to bridge these chances in inequality by disconstructing these structures. We believe that with these budgets, more women will be able to go to school, both from socially privileged and socially underprivileged areas. We believe that more women will be able to access some basic government loans to start businesses and achieve self-actualization. We believe that more women will be given various other opportunities in various social constructs, and we believe that this social mobility is very, very essential in deconstructing this narrative of inequality between male and female. Thirdly, we believe that it deconstructs the patriarchal narrative. And the patriarchal narrative exists on the premise that women are being designed for specific gender roles that should not be intertwined with the gender roles of men, right? So when the government sponsors these gender bills, we understand and we believe that eventually with the social mobility, the concept or the premise that women are designed for some danger role will be deconstructed because we will see women take on more and more complex roles in the society, we will see women take on more and more important roles in the society. Therefore, it nullifies the premise upon which the the very concept of patriarchy is built in the first place, thereby, if not completely eliminating, but reducing the problem of patriarchy in the society. We believe that this is very, very essential for a progressive society. We believe that it's very, very essential to like mobilize everything we have to like deconstruct a construct that has eventually like made a whole demography world unable to attain their grace. And we believe that it is a progressive and a good measure of government to like try to include women in the social inclusion of the government. We believe that human resources is like a basic. We believe that human resource is like a very, very important source of government. So therefore, the isolation of a whole demography of human beings is not good for government progression, and it's not good for government growth. So we believe that the inclusion of these women through the mobilization of these budgets will lead to like greater exploitation of these human resources that are available for government and they are available for people. I don't believe that that is actually nice. I don't believe that that is actually and that's actually very, very progressive. So finally, we believe that these budgets will actually bridge inequality in these instances. So the bridging of inequality in these instances means that women have more social mobility. So therefore, they are able to like compete on equal pedestal with men. They are no longer faced by like societal constructs that deprive them of the opportunity of being like competing favorably with men. I don't believe that this is actually good. So I'm going to now give you a consequential analysis on how this is actually like better for the society. We believe that in countries where these things have been implemented, they have been recorded successes. So if these countries can record these successes in the chances created for women, if these countries can record these successes in the opportunities created for women, we believe that this can be replicated in these countries where there is systemic oppression. And we believe that systemic oppression will consequently be destabilized, proudly for position. That is